Sushmita, welcome to India today.
Thank you.
I have to say this that I binged watched Taali and I watched it not once but twice. For a personal reason is I had a friend who's converted and who's transitioned and is a trans person now, and she watched the show with me.
Fantastic.
And it was pure joy to just see her go through all the emotions that you've gone through on various aspects and scenes. I want to ask you, now that the show is out, for everyone to watch and everybody to go through that journey, what's the biggest Taali that you have received through a message or a call or a note?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, Tushar. It's been too much. It's been a very overwhelming response. I was not expecting so much. I was expecting it to be, I've often said this, I was expecting us to have like that same issues of why not a trans, why not this, why not that, which is our initial, the first time we did the first look, that was the initial response. But right from when the teaser was released, the warmth and the love and the acceptance that started coming our way, it gives me goosebumps to think that for what it's worth, it was a very, very honest attempt. And that people received it the way they have has been truly overwhelming. But if you were to ask me one message or one, I think my most favorite one is from Gauri Sawant herself. And that no one can beat. And it's a voice note she sent me. And she just very beautifully expressed that on behalf of herself and more importantly, her community, that she's very glad I came on to do this and that she felt her own journey and that I did justice to it. And that to me is everything.
Absolutely.
There is no compliment greater than that.
Nothing is greater than that. You know, when I was watching the series, there was one part which was the physical transformation, the little details, the stubble, then the voice, the baritone, even the lungi that you're wearing, the mannerisms in which you're walking. That is
the
one.
Lungi. Yeah.
And the second is the skin and the you get under the skin of hers, right? What's the one thing that Gauri has taught you that perhaps getting into this character you've taken from Gauri and which will stay with you?
Gauri actually is a very, very, if you've met her in person, you can at best try to mimic her and you'll fail. She's a very, very authentic person and not a copy of someone else. She's very authentic. So when you look at her mannerisms and her body language and the way she is, she's very strong. The persona is very strong. But at the same time, she's delicately always fixing her sari ka pallu, her pleats. She's far more, the effort to be a woman is far more detailed and consciously done than we do as women generally. We take it for granted. I would have to say that one of the things that she and I discussed was that she's a person of faith. Do whatever you will, but do it with someone's conviction. So Sush, when you play Gauri, don't try to play someone dishonestly. Because we are more than the well-documented body language of a Hijra community person. We are much more than just trying to be fake effeminate. We are much more than loud and screaming. We have so much more. Make sure that comes through. I think was the biggest takeaway from what she wanted. She gifted me a Rudraksh from her guru for me to have courage to play this role and not to get intimidated by people and their reactions through the making. And then she made me promise, once this is over, I want the Rudraksh back. So I said, done, we'll do that. Well, by the time it got over, she just gifted it to me. But I have, throughout Taali, worn it throughout the sequences where I've played Gauri.
Wow, that's a beautiful anecdote again. Every time a Sushmita Sen project is announced, there's a lot of excitement in general.
Thank God.
There is. And that has been persistent over the years, irrespective of what's the new trend, what's the new fad, what's the coolest thing to do, right? You've stayed you. You've not changed. What has been your sounding board? What has been that thing that tells you that, listen, the whole world is jumping on this fad. I can't because I have to be true to myself. Like, how have you been so consistent in being you?
Wow, he's asking some seriously intense questions in order to think about this. The thing about fads and stuff is fantastic because it also kind of has a way of getting communities together. people who want to follow that fad, do that particular video on Insta because it's such a hit, follow this kind of music, follow that kind of style, follow this kind of cinema, whatever be it. It's not that I don't want to follow a fad. It's just that if it interests me, I do it. If it doesn't interest me, I don't do it. And I think that's where the consistency has been, that I have always been led by my heart. The things that I really, really want to do, they could be for or against the tide, but then I would do it because that's something I really want to accomplish. It's so sweet of you to say that. The fact is, after the 8-year hiatus, coming back with an aria and then having waited very patiently for getting something that is not run of the mill, is not something that is going to just be another successful show alone, but something that will leave a footprint of your art and of your belief, if I put it like that. Taali was it. When it came to me, I was actually more amazed than the ones bringing it to me, because I was like, who imagined this? Like, I couldn't imagine playing a trans woman. I had not ever envisioned that that's something I would do in my career. And not that I had said I won't do it, but I just never thought somebody would cast me like that. It was an eye-opener, because the minute they came and offered it, it was a yes. It was like an instant yes, because it's empowering a voice, and it's such, and to be able to use my art and to be able to do that, it's huge. It's huge. So it did take us 6 months to finally lock it all in, but yeah, it was an instant yes. So,
you know, a wiser Sushmita who's now obviously getting stuff like Taali to do. How exciting is that?
Oh,
I mean,
really,
just
it is.
It's hunger for the passion, the craft that you do. If you had to go back and give your younger self just a piece of advice, what would it be in retrospect? Like, girl, you'll be fine. You know, you'll do okay.
Younger self as in me yesterday?
Yesterday, or maybe a few minutes back.
Okay. It's going to be a fantastic journey. Keep going. I would also actually ask my younger self how that younger self was so sorted. Because when I look at myself today, I think consistency is what we were talking about. I've kind of built consistently on the beliefs of that little girl, and tried very hard not to allow the world and dunyadari to make me bitter. Because the innocence and the wonderment of that little girl is everything to me. Because I have manifested such incredible highs in my life that you can't manifest them unless you keep your sense of purity. So more than giving that little girl an advice, I would actually go back and ask her, how did you know this is how you need to be? And because of you, I am.
You know, speaking of little girls, are the blessings in your life, are the girls the window to what's happening in pop culture, in that space? Do they keep you on your toes? Because, you know, I happened to jump on your live the other day, and I love with the passion that you do your lives. You have this connect, you read the comments, and it's you who's reading them, and it's you who's responding.
Yeah, and it's very bad, because if you look at those lives, I'm like, because I can't read, they're going so fast, and I want to respond to people, but now I've learned, like, I'm a little not tech savvy sometimes, that I can actually scroll back down instead of trying to chase the messages. But anyhow, yes, they do keep me on my toes. More importantly, Alisa, who's here with us today, she's very tech savvy, and teenagers now have their own lingo, have their own way of expressing themselves. I don't always agree with it, because her way of messaging is, mom is one message, how, one message, are, you. I'm like, just put that in one sentence. I say, ting, 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 ting. There's like 5 messages popping up. This is this new thing that they have, which I don't get, because it just clogs up my timeline. But other than that, yes. What is the happening Instagram lingo? What is happening out there on social media? They keep me posted. They also tell me when I'm not doing something cool. Like, it's not cool, mom. Don't say these things. What was that? Savage? Savage. Kuch to tha. I said something and she said, oh my God, don't ever say that in public. So I was like, okay then. It was a simple English word, and then she just corrected me, and not that I will remember now, but I'll make the mistake then if you don't remind me.
but you've got somebody to look after you in that space. At least there's somebody to correct
For
you.
a little while longer. She's going to go study in Switzerland, so she's leaving soon. My elder one's already working. So yeah, my nest is getting empty by the second.
That must be, I don't know. I mean, I can't even relate to that. I quickly want to check with you, Taali or Gali. I'm going to ask you five
Okay.
trends.
Okay.
What should it be, a Taali trend or a Gali trend? Okay. Number one is airport fashion.
Gali trend.
It's a Gali trend.
Yeah. It's. I mean, works for people great, but I just think that, it's not something I find cool.
Okay. The whole pap culture that has sort of become almost a third, fourth arm of what it is to promote a film. What was that?
I love the paps. Many of them over the years I've seen literally grow up with me. Some are very senior. The others are a whole new breed of them that I'm getting to know, this new generation of them. But I love them because every time I say, "Aaj tabiyat achhi nahi lag rahi," they back down their cameras. They don't take the picture. So that's the relationship I have with them. I love them.
Okay. Censorship on OTT.
What censorship? Tell me. Tell me. You can't even go for Gali or Taali because what censorship?
Like this whole talk of regulation, there should be some sort of regulation.
Unless there is, then we can discuss it. Because right now, I think there's a lot of freedom on OTT. And which is why the content is so exciting to watch.
Right.
Because it's path-breaking in so many ways.
Right. Sequels.
Yeah.
This whole trend of let's make 2, 3, 4, 5 like series.
Why not? Please. This one is a Taali and a Taali all the way. You should.
Tell me if you had to pick a film of yours whose sequel would really excite you. Just on paper, if somebody came and narrated, what do you think?
A film?
Yeah, a film of yours.
I definitely think it's about time we did a Mehuna 2.
Oh.
I definitely think we should do that.
You should just cheer for this, for the fact that you've said this. I think everybody online is going to start a petition.
Yeah, no, petition, no. They've tried. They go to Farah, then they go to Shah Rukh, then they come back to me. And I'm like, go back to Farah. Ask her. But yeah, no, I think it would be exciting. You see, also, in this second innings of my career, there's a wish list that I have, in which playing a glamorous, out-and-out glamorous woman is back on my wish list, because it's been a while since I've done that. So that's a nice song.
Because, every time there's a sari sequence or a mention, there's nobody. You're the OG when it comes to that. Let's just sort of accept that. Like, when we're sitting and chilling and talking and that song comes, we're like, she is the Bible when it comes to playing that role and wearing a sari. I mean, do you still get that? You should be.
I do. I do get it. I do own it. I'm very proud of the fact that the one thing that I was sulking to Farah about, I was saying, what? My first film with Shah Rukh, I'm in a sari in the whole film? What are you saying and all of that? Farah said, trust me, just watch Queen, what's going to happen. And so I call her my Queen Maker. She calls me Queen. So I go, Queen Maker, if we don't kill it in a sari, this is a tragedy in my life. My first film with Shah Rukh Khan and falls flat. And there she was. I dressed up in that first red sari. We actually shot in order. So the introduction was the first sari. And I walked out, and Shah Rukh, who was supposed to be humming a song, went down on his knees, which was not, something that we had decided on. So basically, one camera lost him because he just sat down. And so we redid that take, but it was Shah Rukh's edition to go down on his knees and open his arms.
Wow. And that's history. I mean, that's got a place in its
own.
And
that's an original, that's an OG reaction to the sari, so which was lovely.
That is fab. The last one is remixes of songs. I mean, you've had your songs recently remixed. What is your take on that?
I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Only because there's a whole different generation getting used to a very different kind of sound. So if you can bring back the lyrics and the feel, it's magical, because you're really going back and bringing it to the present generation, and they're loving it. I'm all good for it. I think the only time I'll feel bad is if somebody did a remix of Mujhe Mast Mahal Mein Jeene De. Because I don't think you can better that song. I honestly don't think you can. And to have the fluidity, if you just shut off the visual and just hear the song, you're in a zone. And Yeah, I think that's the only song they shouldn't touch. Baki, they can do as many remixes as they want.
No, that's a lot. There's a lot of sacred stuff in the 90s and the 2000s that should not be touched. This is definitely one of that. I mean, yeah, you put it in your car and you listen to it.
Yeah.
Just
Even
don't touch
today,
it. Leave that.
It's a vibe.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions in Hindi now.
Okay.
मुझे ये आपसे जानना है कि जितने भी दर्शक हमें अभी देख रहे हैं, जिन्होंने ताली पसंद की है, जिन्होंने ताली देखी है, और जिन्होंने ताली देखी भी नहीं है, वो ताली देखेंगे ये इस चैट के बाद.
हाँ.
मुझे ये जानना है कि आपके परिवार में या आपके दोस्तों में जब आपकी कोई फिल्म या कोई शो आता है, तो किस तरह का माहौल होता है? क्या आप लोग व्हाट्सएप पे या ग्रुप पे बैठ के डिस्कस करते हैं? किनकी फीलिंग्स या किनके रिएक्शंस?
हम बहुत टची लोग हैं तुषार. हम बोलते हैं ये फोन पे, व्हाट्सएप पे, फेस टाइम वैसा नहीं चलेगा. The people who love me, that's that emotional card you play, कि आप मुझसे और मेरी फिल्म से प्यार करते हैं तो घर आइए, साथ में बैठिए, पॉपकॉर्न पार्टी है, everybody is getting whatever they want to drink, but we are going to watch this in one go, and no one's going to comment on it, good, bad or ugly, till we have watched the whole thing. This is the only time during the screening I wait till the last name is read out for every episode. Wow. It's just a mark of respect. I've done it my entire career. This is the first viewing is non-stop, and I make sure I know the names of every single person that was attached to the series or to the film. And no is not an option. So if you are very busy that day and you say no, I'll watch it with you tomorrow and all. For a week, you're blacklisted. I don't talk to you. I feel very emotionally
personal हो जाता है.
It's very personal. It's a very touchy topic. Like इतनी मेहनत की आप लोग एक दिन नहीं निकाल सके types. So no, I don't FaceTime. That much social media I don't want in my house. I want you live. I want you to sit and watch it with me. At best, I might go live to thank people because I can
जो आप
see.
करते हैं बहुत बार fans के साथ.
I like that. And by the way, guys, so the ones who have loved it and watched it, thank you so much. Your love has been an outpour. वो देख के ही आप अगर मेरे सोशल मीडिया के फीड पे जाएंगे तो वहीं पे समझ में आता है कि आप अपनी ज़िंदगी से इतना वक्त निकाल के वो पोस्ट बना भी रहे हैं, वो ही बहुत बड़ी बात है हमारे लिए. And the amount of love you've shown to all communities this time. I'm deeply touched by that. That was the idea behind Taali, and we thank you for that. जिन्होंने नहीं देखी है, क्या कर रहे हैं आप? क्यों नहीं देखी है? आपकी तारीफ बाद में करेंगे, पहले आप जाके देख लीजिए. You like it, you don't like it, you find it indifferent, सब मंजूर है. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but देख लीजिए एक बार.
हाँ जरूर. सुष्मिता, एक एक्टर है जो जब भी आपका नाम लेते हैं ना बड़े प्यार से लेते हैं. He always says my friend सुष्मिता. वो आपका नाम कभी ऐसे सुष्मिता सेन या सुष्मिता नहीं लेते. सलमान. मतलब मैंने बहुत बार देखा है कि मैं उनसे मिला भी हूँ और जब भी आपका जिक्र होता है ना उनकी आंखों में एक चमक होती है. एक अलग तरह की फ्रेंडशिप है आप लोगों की. इट्स गॉन बियॉन्ड वर्क. ही रियली इज वेरी फॉन्ड ऑफ यू. मुझे उसके बारे में थोड़े बताइए कि सलमान और आपकी दोस्ती इतने सालों से अभी भी बरकरार है और वो फिल्मों तक सीमित नहीं है. वो इट्स टू ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हु हैव कनेक्टेड ऑन अ डिफरेंट लेवल.
हाँ, आई थिंक जब मैं स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म में थी तो मतलब आई मस्ट हैव बीन 14-15 साल की रही होंगी उस वक्त. तो अभी भी वो इंटरनेट पे है एक फोटोग्राफ जहाँ पे मेरे कबर्ड में पीछे सलमान खान का इतना बड़ा मैंने प्यार किया का पोस्टर है जो मैंने अपने पॉकेट मनी को बचा के खरीदा था. और मैं और मेरे भाई दोनों यूनिफॉर्म में खड़े हैं सामने. सो एक्चुअली माई connection with Salman goes back that long ago, but मुझे ये तब ये नहीं पता था कि मैं उनके साथ काम करूँगी या उन्हें पर्सनली जानूँगी किसी दिन. और फिर किस्मत, पहली फिल्म आई, फ्लॉप हो गई. उसके बाद दूसरी फिल्म के में काम करना शुरू किया, which was Zor, and during that time I'm thinking, अरे मैं एक्ट्रेस बन गई, अभी तक सलमान से मिली नहीं हूँ, because there was a childhood thing. As if I manifested it, like that childlike excitement. तो उन्होंने फिर जब डेविड का फोन आया और उन्होंने कहा बीवी नंबर 1, मैं सलमान पे ही रुक गई थी. उसके बाद और कौन है, बहुत सारे ensemble कह रहे नॉट इंटरेस्टेड, आई एम डूइंग इट. तो वहाँ से फिर हम पर्सनली मिले एंड हमारी सोच अलग भी है और कुछ चीज़ें बहुत अलग भी हैं. बहुत इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक ऑथेंटिक इंसान है, और दोस्ती निभानी आती है, विच इज़ नाइस.
मेरा आखिरी सवाल ये है कि सवाल नहीं है लेकिन कल जो चंद्रयान का मिशन था, इट्स ऑब्वियसली अ मैटर ऑफ प्राइड फॉर एवरीबॉडी.
ह्यूज.
आप देख रहे थे लाइव
देखा भी, और माय फादर्स इन टाउन. तो मतलब हमारे पूरे घर में द पेट्रियोटिज्म फैक्टर, जो अपने देश के लिए प्यार है, वो बचपन से पापा की वजह से है. मोर देन एनीवन एल्स, नॉट द स्कूल, नॉट एनीवन, जस्ट डैडी. जापान का नेशनल एंथम बजता है तो हमें खड़ा होना पड़ता था, बताओ. तो इंडिया तो आप सोच ही सकते हैं. तो इसीलिए लाइक टू दिस डे बाबा को द फैक्ट दैट आई वन मिस यूनिवर्स, और किसी चीज़ के लिए इतना गुरूर नहीं है उनको, सिर्फ इस बात के लिए कि वो इंडिया की सबसे पहली मिस यूनिवर्स है. सो इट्स अ थिंग अबाउट इंडिया. सो यू कैन वेल इमेजिन येस्टरडे बिकॉज ही वाज हियर, 6 बजे साहब बैठे हुए हैं, एंड बाबा ही इज अ नेविगेटर फ्रॉम द इंडियन एयरफोर्स. तो वो डिटेल में समझा रहे हैं, बेटा लूनर साउथ पोल इज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट प्लेस टू लैंड. ये सब समझा के when it touched down, I just took me back to again Rakesh Sharma in space. First Indian to do that, and finally for us to be able to be the first country in the world that finally managed this. So hats off to all the scientists and all the people behind it. बहुत गर्व होता है, बहुत गर्व.
Absolutely, beaming with pride. And coming back to Taali, I think my final anecdote to you would be thank you. I think you need to be given a big thank you for making this, because it has opened the doors for so many voices that have not been heard, so many faces that perhaps have never been seen.
It's been an honor, but this thank you goes to the platform, to Geo Cinema, to have the audacity to make a story like this, which my hats off in respect to Mr. Ravi Jadhav, a director whose sensitivity and respect for all human beings goes beyond gender and you know any other form of recognition. उन्होंने जितनी इज्जत से और मोहब्बत से बनाया है, hats off to him for that. To all my co-stars, to the crew, to the cast, to our producers, all 3 of them, Arjun, Karthik and Afifa. It takes a lot of courage to take a story like this and to bring it to people, and just for the greater good, walk up to a Sushmita also and say, would you like to do this? Most people be like, how did you think I could play a transgender? You know, but no, I'm glad that they did. And finally to Gauri Sawant, because if ऐसा इंसान जो अपनी पूरी जिंदगी मिसाल की तरह जी ले, then you get on reel to have an example, not a generic example that is everywhere. But to say no, there are people like Gauri Sawant who are making a difference, who are bringing in acceptance. So thanks to her, and little thank you to me too, because I'm so glad I was brave enough to do this.
On that note, thank you so much, Sushmita.
Thank you.
And hoping to catch up with you soon.